So I'm going to be quiet now and I'm going to hand you over to Jonathan Radcliffe, who's going to share his improvement project. There'll be some opportunity for questions afterwards. So Jonathan, are you ready to go?
So hello everybody, to everyone who I have met before and to those who haven't. My name is Jonathan Radcliffe. I'm a Band 6 neonatal nurse on the Trevor Mann Baby Unit in Brighton. So we look after babies from 22 weeks of gestation right the way through to term, and we also have babies requiring any surgical intervention or cardiac intervention. Perfect. So this one is just literally just a bit of fun, just to kind of talk to you, just a little bit of trivia and fun facts. These are 5 people who have manoeuvred their way through the world after coming out extremely premature. So from Sir Winston Churchill, Stevie Wonder, who lost his sight as a result of a neonatal disease, which is retinopathy of prematurity, right the way through to the Russian ballerina Anna Pavlova. So one of my biggest pet hates is massive chunks of information on PowerPoint. So I've kind of just left it quite visual and just kind of talk through about it. So one of the big things that I've recognised is our failure to really highlight to parents the parental expectation of life on a neonatal unit. So the life on a neonatal unit normally comes unexpectedly, and it's a bit of a shock for some parents. And there are lots of hurdles. They've also got to manage their lives, their work balances, their relationships. And the whole point of my quality change improvement is to be able to provide a realistic expectation for those parents of the potential journey that they have ahead on their neonatal journey. So 91 days, just to kind of clarify, is the average amount of days that a baby will spend on a neonatal unit when they're born premature. That doesn't necessarily mean 91 days until they go home. That can be 91 days until they then go on to other settings. So they might move on to a paediatric ward or long-term care facility. They will hopefully go home after 91 days, but obviously it's not always the same. But it's 91 days, which from when you first start at those first hours on the neonatal unit to tell parents that they could potentially face up to 3 months with us, some of their faces are just absolutely daunted. So the benefits really of meeting parental expectations on the neonatal unit. So by failing to do it, we potentially increase the length of stay of a neonate. So when we meet the expectations, we give the parents more opportunity to bond. They start to accept life and start to form a relationship with life on a neonatal unit. It massively improves perinatal mental health. So, and that as a result then allows parents to have more opportunity to bond. Same for fathers as well. So men are often sidelined in neonatal care. That's something I try to focus on as well, is the importance of fathers in that relationship. By meeting, sorry, I was trying to go back. Sorry, just by carrying on with that, meeting the parental expectation, then we also reduce the risk of readmission into hospital. We reduce the average stay by about 9 to 10 days, and parents are more likely to integrate in breastfeeding, which gives the child the optimum chance of life, and it gives them the optimum health developments. So this is a case study, and then just to clarify, I do have full permission from the parents to share this with you. So this is a baby that we had. So Zachary on the left came to us at 23 plus 5. Spontaneously. Mum just came in, just hadn't felt unwell. She thought she's on Braxton Hicks, and she delivered 4 hours later. And the reason and the real kind of key message here is between these 2 photos, Zachary had 3 cardiac arrests. He had 4 trips to theatre. He had laser eye surgery. He had 3 readmissions to hospital. He had a life-threatening chest infection. And on the right is Zachary at 2 years old on his birthday. He has met all of his milestones for his corrected gestation, and he is walking, talking, and doing absolutely well. But the key message is there is a great big journey and a great big learning curve in between these two pictures. And that's where we want to be able to support parents in being able to see what this journey could potentially be. So the proposal really for me is a 3-step sort of program. So the first one is the sharing of parent narratives. So this is often shared in a lot of oncology and long-term conditions such as renal wards, where patients would kind of almost keep a diary of their journey, and that will actually be shared with patients that are kind of new to the service, for them to kind of gauge an idea of the expectations and the hurdles they may be facing, ways that they can become accustomed to life, and any adjustments they can have, some tips. And we like these stories to be honest, open, transparent, raw, everything that will help these parents be able to adapt to life on the neonatal unit. The second step of that is parent teaching. So we would invite parents to come in and actually have an open forum with parents that are currently on the unit. So we currently teach parents about different things, about teaching about feeding and physiotherapy, that sort of thing. But being able to introduce parents to come in, I think will have a massive impact on helping parents to adapt to life on the neonatal unit. And the third step of that then would be to incorporate that for staff. So I think staff are a great support for parents, but I think for them to have a much more of a foundation of knowledge of the parental expectation, the parental view of life on the neonatal unit will really help educate us in a really positive way and help us to support parents. Because a lot of stuff on the neonatal unit is focused around the baby and the family's physical health, but the mental health and those aspects are something we don't always achieve 100%. And those are the things that are going to impact the important things that we always try to hammer home, which is breastfeeding, which is bonding, which is developmental care. And I think this is a massive, massive pillar in that road to success. And it's something I really, really hope to achieve. And I think that is me finished. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jonathan. Shall we do a round of applause? I know everyone else is on mute, but you'll hear me. Thank you so much. I'll tell you what, Jonathan, we've got a few of our colleagues here from RADA, Jenny and Dominique, and I think that they will really appreciate how much that part of the programme has impacted on how you presented that. It was the most beautifully polished presentation, and every point that you made really resonated with me, and I'm sure the rest of the audience. So brilliant. You've got us off to a wonderful start. Thank you so much. So I'll encourage people in the audience to pop some questions into the chat box and make any comments. And while they're doing that, I wonder, Yvonne, if you wanted to give any reflections on what you heard there from Jonathan.
Well done, Jonathan. I mean, just terrific. The focus in choosing such an important topic for a start that makes obviously so much impact around that family. I mean, just brilliant to start with. The presentation, of course, but where do you go from now? Are you going to publish some of this, for example? Question mark?
So absolutely. So I currently have a wide variety of parents. So I've tried to avoid having kind of similar stories, because everybody's journey is different. So I have some extreme premature babies right the way through to parents who came with term babies for a surgical need, for parents who admitted completely unexpectedly, and some who knew straight away from early on in their pregnancy that they would be admitted to the neonatal unit. So we wanted to have very, very different aspects, very different points of view, and very different stories and journeys to share. which I think, because neonatal life is so unexpected and so varied, I think is so important to have different chapters.
Yeah, but it's the way you brought parents together, those that had experienced it with those that were experiencing it. I mean, just an amazing thing to do, and so crucial, as well as, of course, as your diaries and so on. So it's the whole piece of what you've done that you just need to get into print. Well done.
Thank you, Yvonne. And that's something, Jonathan, we would be really pleased to help you with. I know that our comms team are listening in the background and have been messaging me throughout your presentation saying that they would absolutely love to speak to you and some of the families that you've helped. And we also have in the audience here Jess Reid, who you're going to be hearing from as our guest speaker. Jess is the Deputy Chief Midwifery Officer for England, but she's made some comments in the chat box, and I wonder, Jess, if you would like to make a comment or reflect on what you heard there from Jonathan.
Hi, sorry, I was just trying to unmute and start the video. Morning, everybody. Wow, Jonathan, I mean, that's just so good to hear. I think we often forget, don't we, that mothers still need midwifery nursing care when they have premature babies. It's so quick, it's so easy to sort of skip across to the post the 4 weeks and then, okay, well, they'll be all right now. And I think you really demonstrated that in your presentation, and the importance of peer support. I mean, we've seen that has been so crucial through this pandemic. Mothers who have had babies through these difficult times have been supporting those who are on their journey to have babies. And how much more important is that in the neonatal unit when there is such high level of stress for those families and parents? So thank you so much. I'm just keen, as was said before by Yvonne, to see something in publication. It would be fantastic, Jonathan, just to encourage you in that.
Thank you, Jess, that's brilliant. And we've also had a comment from Katie in your cohort that was asking about whether you'd considered using perhaps a website so other parents nationally could have access to what you'd learn.
Absolutely. So we're just first of all, we've just started something locally, which is just a booklet that we're given to parents on admission, and we're then rolling that into a bit more electronic that can be shared on our trust website, on our unit website, and hopefully it can be rolled out a bit further if there's interest for it.
It sounds like there's definitely interest, so thank you so much, Jonathan. And I would encourage you to just have a look over the chat box, because there's some serious support from your group here right behind you and in everything you've done.